Gonna jump into Strava again to do the video for this week. We did Jiu Jitsu on Monday again, pretty standard, no gi for an hour. Don't know why it's an hour 1 minute. Obviously just got that bit wrong. And then that was June for a training month done. So we jumped into Tuesday, which was quite a good day actually. It was just a single workout, 3 sets, 1 set every 12 minutes. I looked at this and I thought it'd be quite easy, but it turned out to be quite difficult. So we had a 100-foot sandbag carry, got a sandbag in the shed, 15 burpee box jump overs, 10 sandbag cleans, just up to the shoulder, box jump overs, cleans up to the shoulder again, box jumps overs, sandbag carry. Now those rounds were taking me sort of 8 to 9 minutes, which I thought would be more like 6 to 7. You can see there my heart rate was pretty high for these type of workouts. It spiked and then dropped down in the rest periods. Most of it was done in pretty much upper zone 2, if I'm honest. We spilled a little bit into zone 3 there towards the end. It was actually a tougher workout than what I thought, but it was a good one. I really like those style of workouts where it's just grunt work. It's just, people talk about functional training, but that literally is, it's carrying heavy stuff, moving your body off the floor, climbing over things, picking things up and putting them on your shoulder. That's the type of training I really like. And then I followed that up with just a little bit of strength training afterwards. So I just did pull-off press, which is actually really hard. It's sort of like, it's a pressing movement, but it actually it burns your legs for 15 reps. Some hammer curls, and then just 3 sets of dumbbell walking lunge. I put them on my back. It's a 32.5 kilo, 70-pound dumbbell, 70-pound dumbbell. Put that on my back and just walked for lunges, another 100 feet, rested as needed. Bit of like bodybuilding to finish, really. On the Wednesday, I fancied running, to be fair, so I just went out and did an easy 10k. It wasn't anything special, just nice and simple. Kept it comfortable, and if I felt like I could push the pace, I did. It's not rapid, it's 4:41 pace, it's comfortable pace on average. You can see there, started 4:52 and floated around sort of that pace until the sort of last 4k, where I picked it up a little bit, sort of felt good, so I decided to push the pace a little bit. Just got sort of like a 50-50 split, really, or negative split I suppose you call it in the running world, where first half was steady and controlled and then pushed it on the second half. And it was nothing too strenuous. I just felt like running that day, to be fair. I don't know why, I just felt like running and getting out there. And then I actually did, later on that evening, that morning, a short workout. So it's 25 cals at Echo bike, and I did 125 double unders because I don't have a heavy rope. It was a little under 10 minute, bit of a burner, just to wrap things up basically. Just push the pace for a little bit, just basically get a bit of lactic in you and then clear it out. I quite like doing little sessions like that off the back of runs. You'll see me do it quite a bit. So I'll run, be a nice steady easy session. It's almost like my body's functioning, then my body's flowing, and then I'll just tag on like a little bit of bodybuilding or a little short workout like that. Nothing too strenuous, nothing too intense. I then got out again. It's quite a big day actually that day. Basically, I got some new shoes delivered. So I got the Adidas Evo SL delivered. So I just, like a kid, wanted to go out and try them. So I just went out and did a quick little 5k. And to be fair, they were shifty, they were nifty. So I wouldn't have normally done that, to be perfectly honest. I didn't necessarily want to run, but I just really wanted to try the shoes after hearing so many good things. And to be honest, they are good shoes. They're really good shoes. So that was just a little add-on in the afternoon. I then ran again. I just, like I say, felt like running quite a bit. Did Jiu Jitsu on Thursday. I've not actually recorded it on Strava for whatever reason. But I did Jiu Jitsu again on Thursday. See, there it goes from the Wednesday to the Friday. I did a morning of gi and Jiu Jitsu. I'll have to add that in, to be fair. But again, Friday morning, I just felt like running. I did a really easy run. It was just a long run, 15k, easy. An hour and 13. Pace was really slow. Just trotting along, nothing strenuous. Heart rate was pretty consistent through the whole piece. I'll just scroll down and find it. 131 beats a minute, so smack in the middle of zone 2. You can see there it was over 80% zone 2, and the rest of it is zone 1, a tiny little bit. A couple of uphill sections as you get to sort of further out right down here. This back road here, a little bit of uphill, so that's when my heart rate spiked. That was that. I'll have to add the Jiu Jitsu in. And then finished off again, like I say, I mentioned it earlier, I like to tag a bit of weight training on the back of runs, so I just got in, did some ring rows, I've got a pull-up bar in the back, some tempo press-ups, bodyweight stuff, and then again this was more for shoulder health. I've got a bit of a shoulder niggle, so just did a dead hang on the pull-up bar, it says rig, dumbbell farmer's carry, and then handstand hold against the wall. So really nothing strenuous there, that was more just a bit of sort of body weight, bodybuilding slash prevention, injury prevention work, like loosening my shoulders out a little bit, working on my grip, and sort of proactively training them without intensity. And I guess I don't get injured a lot, and I think that's why I do a lot of stuff where I'm not really moving under intensity or anything like that. It's quite a lot of controlled stuff, a lot of technique work. Saturday, great training day Saturday, to be fair. Went to the gym, got into the gym, and did a lot of work with the rope. This was a really fun session. So you got 2 sets, descending rep scheme, rope climbs and burpee box get-overs. Really fun. Again, the type of stuff which I love doing, it, pulling yourself up on a rope. Kids in school can climb ropes. I feel like at some point as an adult you lose that skill just randomly unless you practice it. And then picking yourself up, climbing over things, it's just fun. It's like being a kid again. It's literally like when you see kids playing in a park. When I say, look, my kids at the park, you see kids playing and they're literally doing things like that. All right, not on a rope in a gym and boxing, but they're pulling themselves up, they're climbing over things on their knees, on the hands, they're moving the body weight, and it's just such a fun way to train. So I did 2 sets of that. Pretty good upper body stressor as well. And then I moved into intervals. So you do 3 minutes, rest 1 minute, 3 minutes, rest 1 minute, 3 minutes, rest 1 minute, 4 minutes. You do heavy double unders. I actually got a heavy double under rope. I found one actually that I didn't realise I had. So I might start using that, although it is pretty battered. It's got weighted handles in it and it's just a bit clunky. Again, 3 rope climbs and then max cal ski. So the goal there is to get as many calories on the ski egg in those work intervals as you can. And then I finished off with some box squats, just quick, simple box squats. I'm trying to squat a bit more. I neglected it up for a long time when I was doing all those runs. So I am trying to squat a lot more. I've always had decent squat strength and decent legs. I purposely didn't do it when I was running because my legs get quite bulky when I train, and it was just getting in the way of running, plus fatigue from running. But I'm trying to squat a bit more now because I just think squatting's good for your health in general. Really is. And to be fair, the heart rate monitor didn't pick up this session, so I just had to kind of add it in manually, so I don't really know heart rate data on that. And then Sunday, I basically did a pretty simple, a lot of rope climbs this week, which is quite interesting, but it's good. Didn't realise I'd done that many. 15 calorie row, 5 wall walk. So you do 4 rounds of that basically, and that didn't really do much. It was more just to spike your heart rate. Again, heart rate monitor wasn't quite working. It was a one watch this one, so I can show you that data. So we did 15 calorie row, 5 wall walks. Wall walks are a massive weakness of mine, and they actually went quite well. enjoyed them. If you don't know what a wall walk is, you basically lie flat on the floor with on your front with your feet touching a wall, and you then press up into a press up position, and then push backwards with your hands and walk your feet up the wall, a literal wall walk. And then after that, you just do 15 legless rope climbs. So that is literally pure upper body and arm pulling strength. They're really quite tough, but it was a good little workout. To be honest, by the time we got through the bulk of the rope climbs, like heart rate wise, it dropped, and it was more just a muscular endurance for your upper body pulling. I think the row and the wall walk spiked your heart rate and fatigued you a little bit, but you almost recovered through the rope climbs. It was a bit of a strange one. But then I did quite a good session straight after that. Really, really core heavy. Rowing and toes to bar is one of my favourite combinations. I think it gets your grip, but also if you do something like a ski erg and toes to bar or running, I feel like your core starts to fail on that more, whereas there's no real reason your core fatigues. So you can actually work your core at a high heart rate when you're rowing, because obviously you're sat and it's a little bit, but yeah, ski erg and things like that. Assault bike and toes to bar is another favourite of mine. So anything where you're sort of seated on a machine I quite like doing, because you're not engaging your core through the cardio exercise as much, which means you can push it more with a high heart rate. I find ski ergs and things like that, your heart rate, your core, you have to brake more, so it's not as intense. But it was basically descending reps, 30, 20, 10, calorie row toes to bar, rest, and then work back up the rep scheme, 10, 20, 30, which is good because the first set you feel all the work's obviously in the front end, and by the time you get to the last 10 reps on each, this is relatively straightforward. But the second one's a mental game, because your first 10 reps go by quick, and then you're like, oh god, this is building. And even though they took round about the same time, it feels mentally a lot longer on that second set. And then I finished off, rest 3 minutes again, just with 10 sets of a 300 metre row and rest 1 minute. And the idea of that was basically to just move at a pace, probably 2k pace, where I'd be rowing up for a 2k all out effort, and just rest, go through the minutes. So it worked out about 1 minute on, 1 minute off in the end, to be honest with you. And that was the goal of that, just work at about 2k pace. You can see peaks and troughs. So heart rate average was 124 for the session. It peaked 165. That to be honest, that would have been in the rowing sessions at the end. Mainly zone 2, a lot of zone 1, like I say. Most of that was because after that first 4 rounds of rowing and wall balls into the rope climbs, my heart rate dropped quite a bit, and there was quite a bit of rest. So it's interesting that these sessions, the work intervals can be quite intense, and they feel like it's really difficult, but then when you actually look at your heart rate afterwards, you're not working that hard throughout the whole session, so they're quite nice in training that way. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the week in training. I'll add the Jiu Jitsu in now while I remember, because that'll really annoy me if I don't do that. There you go. Added in. And yeah, that was the week, and then obviously move into this week, started going Jiu Jitsu, but I'll cover that in the next session. If you've got any questions about the training, if you want to know, why I choose to tag things on, off the back of runs or anything like that, let me know. But that's essentially how I structured my week. It was just over 30 kilometers of running in the week, which is nice. At the peak of my run, I was doing sort of 70, 80 kilometer week, so I'm less than half of what I was doing, but I'm still getting out there and getting a decent amount in. And I really enjoy running those distances, not too long, just right. So yeah, just let me know in the comments if you've got any questions, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.